So a little discussion about the idea of fit out of these modules. When I say fit out, the idea of the partitions, the arrangement of furniture, utilities, bathrooms, etc. That's really up to you on how much you want to get into that. I noticed students kind of self-initiated a lot on that and did that. In this case, I've put the partition walls in for this one, added Enscape furniture. I'm using Enscape. I think it's a pretty friendly, Revit-friendly program. So if I was to jump out to the Enscape, which is running simultaneously, you'll see that it has all the high quality. When it goes to rendering, it has all the high quality furniture that looks like wireframe in Revit. So there's a wireframe Enscape representation in Revit. If you move it or change its position, it'll automatically update. Like for instance, I see this chair is out of position. So if I was to go over to Revit now and select this, my mouse jumps around to the other screen. Let me see if I can grab this chair here somehow. There, if I hit the space bar, that automatically rotates these objects. Let's try that again. It should. Let's see if we can look at that from a site view. It's not going to rotate for me. I can move it maybe. Oops, I don't even have that. Oh, I see it's inside of a group, so I have to, let's see if we can, this is actually a classic problem. I'm glad that I'm dealing with this. I need to go into edit group, otherwise I'm just editing it as an instant. And so if I select it, I should be able to rotate it now. So that was a mistake I made, one I should caution you on. Even though you can directly select the object, since it's in a group, it may, if you change it, it may only update the one instance that you're working on. So I'll finish that off. I actually then, so what I did again, once again, I grabbed the whole thing, that group, went into edit group. That allowed me to individually select these items. Like for instance, just to make it more obvious, I'll also pull this chair out. I'll finish that off. And now if we bounce back to Enscape, all right, so that chair is moved and the chair is repositioned there. So they're dynamically linked, and that makes for, and I have all of these views available to me that I've created inside of Revit. So if I click on any of those, it'll automatically update to that. It does this funny thing of bouncing back to Revit, but here I am back to my established street view. So, and then back to that drawing of the moment base. So all of that is dynamically linked inside between Enscape. It'd be interesting to have a discussion with you guys about, the features of Lumion and how that compares to that. All right, so, not to overly promote Enscape, I just find that, that obviously the rendering quality really helps to create much more compelling presentations. So, but back to that idea of fit out, this is up to you. One of the important things about it, though, is that you can create. Now, I'm making the fit out of this is actually happening right in the both of the model groups. But you could do the walls and all the other things as another separate model group and then combine it into this one. So you could have a 3-module and then add in this model group in order to create one layout, duplicate that over as a group, and then edit that group and add another group to it so that it had another furniture arrangement to it. And anyway, that's a way of working with model groups. It's very useful. In the overall scheme of things, I'm working in this project with model groups. We could have worked with families, but I think that model groups kind of lends itself to some nice flexibility here. So I hope that you have a good experience with that idea of working with model groups also. And once again, I'm open for comment. If you wanted to do all of this by making family elements and manipulating the family elements around, I'd like to hear what your experience is and your comments on that also. Okay, so that deals with the idea of fit out. Really, I want to once again send home the idea that even if we're not doing modular construction, the understanding of making model groups will be extremely useful to you as architects, especially when we start to deal with things like interior arrangements and other common elements that get repeated through our architecture.